The story is that my shver, who was the original shliach to Ottawa, Rabbi Mordechai Berger, who unfortunately passed away 8 years ago, right before Rosh Hashanah. So one of the things that my shver's focus, his shlichus, was his school. And he started it with a preschool. And Baruch Hashem, the preschool at the very beginning had a lot of hatzlacha. And my shver would regularly write to the Rebbe, and he wrote about the hatzlacha that he was having. He was very proud of the preschool. Now, 1 year, and this was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the second year after he had opened the preschool, for whatever reason, there was one very popular parent that left, and there was another school that opened, and right before September, when the school year was supposed to start, most of the kids had backed out. And it had nothing to do with the quality of the school. It was like just bad mazel. And my shver took it very personally, took it very much to heart. He was very upset about it. And it hurt him, especially since he was a young shliach. And so he wrote a letter to the Rebbe, and in the letter he was mitayr what had happened. I'm not sure if he wrote his feelings, his own personal allegation, but it was obvious that he was very sad over what had happened, and he wrote what happened. And that I'm not sure if they had to cancel the preschool or if they had to move buildings to a smaller place. I don't know the details. I can find this out from my shviger, but I'm not sure exactly the details, although I heard this story directly from him. So then he got a phone call just within a few days after sending out the letter. He got a phone call from Rabbi Chadikov, and his feeling was that the Rebbe was on the other line, with listening to the conversation. And Rabbi Chadikov told my shver, Rabbi Chadikov asked my shver, he said that the Rebbe received the letter, and the Rebbe wants to know who's going to make sure that the parents of these children will hear Tkiyah Shofar. It was right before, it was September time. So for my shver, this was like, it gave him like a whole new perspective. Till that point, he was so angry, he was so hurt by these parents that he had literally sworn to himself that he would never have anything to do with these parents again, with these kids again. He was angry with them. He took it personally. He didn't want anything to do with them at all. And the Rebbe heard it. And again, the Rebbe didn't give him words of idud or of chizuk directly, but the Rebbe gave him a whole different perspective on what shlichus is about. The Rebbe said to him, who's going to make sure they hear Tkiyah Shofar? They may have a different school, but that doesn't take away your responsibility from them. They're still under your responsibility. So I say this story now, first of all, because it's a beautiful story, I think, but on another reason, I say this story now because, again, I'm sure I'm talking to a lot of shluchim that don't feel like we're always deserving of the Rebbe's, of the way that Rebbe literally empowers us and gives us these incredible opportunities to be his shliach, and for him to be our mishaleach. And sometimes during the year we get boggled down with different things that trouble us. And it could be also, I know by me, sometimes comes to a time like Simchas Torah, and instead of feeling the simcha, I start feeling a little bit ba'atzvus, that I'm alone and I'm not with the Rebbe and things like that. And you could start feeling down. And I think that the Rebbe reminded us here, reminded my shver, that just because we may not be perfect, just because they left, the Rebbe still cares about our Simchas Torah. Our Simchas Torah is still important. The Rebbe still the same way the Rebbe, as far as I know, said after the heart attack, said to the doctor that who's going to make sure that the chassidim have simcha. In other words, the Rebbe felt that was his responsibility. The Rebbe is still doing that with us now. Every one of us, even if we don't feel deserving, we're his shluchim, and the Rebbe is with us, and the Rebbe is dancing with us, and the Rebbe is being ma'oided us, and the Rebbe is being mechazik us, and the Rebbe is giving us the Sefer Torah, and the Rebbe is pashut with us. All we have to do is not close our eyes, but ufefen in the megan, and we'll see that without any question.